They're now lining up to support an actual communist to be New York City's next mayor if elected. Zohran Mamdani, also known as Marxist Mamdani on this show, would be the most radical, extreme mayor in American history. And he's competing with a lot of close, seconds. For example, the mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Bass out there. This is not an exaggeration. It is not a smear. Marxist Mamdani is a proud communist. He wants the government to seize private property, control the means of production. Don't believe me? Look for yourself.
It is very critical for all of us to remember what it is that we are fighting for, and to remember that our agenda is an agenda that must not be dictated by calculus, but by conviction. And what I mean by that is that the many things that we believe, some of them are already popular in this moment right now, right? If we're talking about the cancellation of student debt, if we're talking about Medicare for all, these are issues which have the groundswell of popular support across this country. But then there are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment.
End goal, seizing the means of production, is literally what Fidel Castro did in Cuba, what the Soviet Union did during the Bolshevik Revolution. But of course, that's just, Marxist Mamdani's ultimate goal. In the meantime, he's plotting a massive new tax on so-called white neighborhoods. Take a look for yourself.
Went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
Whiter neighborhoods, not driven by race. Let's play Jeopardy at home. If you single out and discriminate against one race, what do you at home call that? Just asking. Another prime target of Mamdani's Marxist revolution in New York City are the many billionaires who live and work in Manhattan. As a matter of fact, they create a lot of high-paying career jobs for people so they can pay those exorbitant rent prices and high taxes for the insane socialist policies that exist now. Take a look.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
Fair to each New York City resident according to their need. From each New York City, resident according to their ability. In other words, Mamdani would like the government to seize billions in, quote, equity, because it's not fair right now in stocks and cash, from billionaires on Wall Street, people like Elon Musk. Because in his view, the government can spend Elon's money much better. And when he gets that money and he gives people free stuff, he thinks the odds are much higher that they're going to keep him in power instead of, investing in cutting-edge technology, SpaceX, Starlink, Neuralink, maybe to help the blind see and people with spinal cord injuries walk. What do you think millionaires and billionaires in New York City are going to do if Marxist Mamdani is elected? They are going to pack and leave, and that means working-class New Yorkers are going to be losing their jobs in droves. So, it's unclear how he plans to pay for all of this when they say bye-bye, but Mamdani is promising free buses, free childcare, free healthcare, a government-mandated rent-freeze, government-controlled grocery stores. They run everything else so well. How about they work on their schools that are a disaster in New York City, and price controls all throughout the city? He has also called for the NYPD to be defunded. That's right, and replaced with social workers. How's that going to work out? Think about that. Somebody's deranged, has mental problems, let's say injected heroin, fentanyl, or cocaine into their body, and we're going to have a social worker. I'm here to ask you, what is causing this moment? Did you have a bad childhood? Good luck with that. He once said that violent crime is a little more than a social construct, and that real violence is waged by judges and prosecutors locking up convicted felons. That's why he would end cash bail and let the criminals run free. And like most other Marxists in the U.S., it appears that Mamdani wants to wipe Israel off the map. You know, chanting people in New York and on college campuses, halls of Congress from the river to the sea, and doesn't seem to have a problem with a global intifada, which is a holy war against non-Muslims. He had a chance on NBC this weekend, not one, not two, 3 opportunities to condemn global intifada. He refused to do so. By the way, Hakeem Jeffries, if you're watching, he needs to clarify this. He did. Obviously, he won't condemn it. There's your answer. Take a look.
Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use.
Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me.
Quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things.
Would he condemn racism, sexism? I bet he would. It's not good, to say the least. Make him an honorary squad member right now. And like many other radical socialist, Marxist, statist, Mamdani is actually from, not so humble roots. His parents, incredibly successful. Guess what? They're also very wealthy. He lived a very privileged life. He wanted for nothing. But now we learn he seeks to overthrow the system that enabled his lifestyle, all while pretending to be a struggling immigrant who eats with his hands. We have proof. Take a look.
This is how we defeat the occupation. Style.
So the third holy grail of taboos in American politics, you have socialism, you have Islam, and then you have Palestine. And you are really going for the trifecta.
Let's go, baby.
Well, let's go. Tell me, why is Palestine a part of your politics?
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, you have a very different understanding of the Palestinian struggle. It is one that is framed in terms of empathy and solidarity.
I would support taxpayer dollars going to a fork, but that's just my preference. If this guy's elected, it will not end well for New York. And like every other socialist hellhole, the people who will suffer the most are the ones that cannot and will not be able to afford to leave. Here with reaction.
Wow. This is crazy because, and I showed you this video because there are, when the Bible is talking about the last days, and when it's actually letting us know that there's some things that's going to be happening that's going to let us know that we are in those last days, then that's the time to start waking up, that to really see if this word of God that the Christians always talking about is true. Because, and so the reason why I showed that video is because when you look at what the scriptures is saying concerning the son of perdition. Now, I'm not saying that he is for a fact the son of perdition. I'm saying keep an eye on Zudran Mamdani. Zudran Mamdani. I can't say his name. Zudran Mamdani. Because right now he is somebody that's just come out of nowhere. He is a popular person. He's a Muslim. He's for Islam. He's for Hamas. He's for all of the, destroying the IDF, Israeli Defense Force. He's for going against the Jews. He's for a lot of things when it comes down to the destruction of the people in Israel as well as those who are here. He's for a one world government. He's for putting government in everything that we do. And right now, the Democratic Party loves him. A lot of people, because they don't know the truth, that he is not just a socialist, but a communist. And he wants to bring that to America. He wants that to be what America becomes. And if he gets his way, he's running for mayor in the state of New York. And should he become mayor, that would say a lot of things of where he's heading to. I believe he would make his way to the presidency. So keep your eyes on Zuran Mamdani. And I just think that if you really start following him, you're going to see a lot of things. Like I said, he's not the mayor of New York yet. He's running for the mayor. And I would say keep your eyes on him, because I always said that whoever is the son of perdition is going to come in the means of a Muslim. It's going to be a person who is a Muslim, who is well liked, handsome. People is going to support him, and I think that he's going to usher in the New World Order, which is a one global system of government around the world. And it will usher in the mark of the beast system. What is the mark of the beast system? We're going to get to that in another video. Just be patient with me. It's coming. And I want to show you one other piece, which is a conversation between Hannity and a congressman.
You know, when I listen to Mamdani and you listen to squad members and you look at the let's fly in a private jet for the Fight the Oligarchy tour with Grandpa Bernie and AOC, and the virulent anti-Semitism that I hear in the halls of Congress from the squad and other members, and then these policies that they advocate, New Green Deal, very similar to what Mamdani is talking about doing to New York. This really is now the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. And it seems like the leadership, Chucky Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and others, they won't condemn it. They're afraid of it. But they're afraid of it because it represents the majority in their party. Is that a good analysis, or am I off?
No, you're absolutely right. This is the Democrat Party of today. This is socialism for you. What does socialism have to control the government and control their people? One, they have to control the food supply. Very clear. He made it very clear. He wants government-run grocery stores. There goes your food supply. Two, they have to control your education. How about this? Free education for all. If it's free, it comes with a price because you're beholden to somebody. And then they want to control your health care. Don't forget, free healthcare. Free healthcare is called government-ran healthcare. He knows, because he's an openly proclaimed socialist. So is Bernie Sanders. So is AOC, which, by the way, they're the leading candidates for the 2028 presidential election for the Democrats. They all claim to be socialists, and they all want to have government run everything. But isn't this interesting? Have you ever met a poor socialist leader?
No.
Me neither. All of them are filthy rich, but they want everybody else beholden to them.
Well, it's like the Fight the Oligarchy tour. They're flying around the country in a private jet. All right, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, we're going to be watching.
Okay, so I want to read this again for you in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, starting at verse 3. It says, "Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So this is talking about, first of all, a lot of people think that, it could have happened, back during the time of Jesus, but it really didn't happen. And so the apostle is letting us know that it's a coming time, because certain things have to happen before that takes place. And when you go down to verse 8, it says, and then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the works of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth. That means they didn't receive the word of God. They didn't believe what Jesus said. They didn't believe what the apostles tried to warn us about, as well as Jesus trying to warn us about, telling us about what's to come. They didn't want to believe it. And so it says again, and with, in verse 10, all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion that they should believe the lie. And that's what's going on now when you look at the fact that a person can't tell you what the difference between a man and a woman. What is a man? What is a woman? They are deceiving the parents and children that cut the body parts off of the boy if he wants to be a girl, or the body parts off the girl if she wants to be a boy, and let's just dope them up with all kinds of drugs and blockers to change their try and change their voice and all these other things, thinking that's going to change them into what the opposite of what God brought them in this world for. And so they're deceived because they didn't want to believe the truth. In verse 11 again, it says that God would send them strong delusions. He's to send them strong delusion, and they believe in the lie. Verse 12, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. And so I could show you a lot of things of what's happening around the world, and that's a upcoming video soon to come, because it is a crazy world we're living in. We are truly living in the last days, and the Lord is just trying to warn us, let us know what's really going on, and we just have to be able to pay attention to these things. 2 Timothy chapter 3, it says this: but know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, and from such people turn away. For of this sort are those who creep into household and make captive gullible women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. So women are being manipulated, and if a woman is manipulated because they're gullible, then men are so caught up on women, they can fall suit right behind them and fall into the trap of deception. And when you look at such lawlessness that is going on, you have to wonder, wow, this truly is. And I'm going to show you something else.
This is London. Naked cyclists, little kids, and then naked people. Now that's what I saw within the first 3 hours of my recent tour with the kids in London. People laughing, I guess. Everyone's laughing. Hundreds of naked cyclists. I'm talking full frontal nudity. Forget those bicycle bars. Ouch. Now, it was disgusting. Parents were kind of trying to turn their baby carriages around and their strollers around and turning the kids away. But the pornification of the culture I wrote about so many years ago, it continues. And when I came home, we saw more of this stuff during pride parades, and it continued into this weekend. So now, coast to coast, it is socially acceptable in front of children, young teens, to expose yourself in public.